Massive love to my Patreon general, Carluccio Don Carlo, for coming through and sponsoring your boy the YB on Patreon. Anyone else who'd like to support your boy, receive exclusive daily content from the YB, interact with the YB, patreon.com/the YB. Now, moving to more pressing matters. Anthony, the Matador Joshua, has reacted to and responded to, and the Sun newspaper actually reports that Anthony Joshua has hit out at annoying boxing politics as he accepts he will likely have to vacate a world title. Now, you man who follow my channel, you'll know that we've been following this IBF and WBO situation extremely closely. You've got Pulev, the big stiff dude who needs to be get up all the way out of there. If Anthony Joshua steps in the ring with Kubrat Pulev, he needs to be stiffened. He's already stiff as you like. He's already a stiff Hungarian. However, by the time AJ's finished with him, he'll be indefinitely stiff. Yeah, rock hard, no doubt. Usyk, too small. He's not thick enough in the back. His legs ain't thick enough. He needs to be get up all the way out there as well. So that's the funny thing. That's the scary thing about this situation. WBO and the IBF, they're making out they've got something to offer. Both of their men are getting stiffened. Yeah? Alexander Stiff Usyk. Kubrat Stiffy Pulev. That's what they're going to be known as by the time AJ finishes with them. All we need is time. It's not a matter of who, when, or what, or if. It's time. Yeah? And AJ's even talking about fighting 3 times in 1 year, and I think that's a great idea, especially with these two cats. I mean, if you're fighting, I'm not being funny, even if he was fighting Fury or Wilder, I can see a situation where he don't get touched in them fights either, but particularly for Pulev and Usyk, AJ ain't going to get touched, or not to the extent where he can't fight more than twice in a year. AJ versus Pulev versus Usyk, AJ can fight 3 times in 1 year. Anyway, before we carry on with that, let me read to you the actual quotes. So, speaking to Sky Sports, the 30-year-old Matador Joshua said, "I would hate it if I was to be stripped, because it's so hard to go around and collect all these belts. It's really difficult, and I've kept hold of them for so many years. So to have to vacate because of the boxing politics would be annoying. But these things are out of my control. If I do lose one, I know I'll be able to get it back." So there's the quotes from the Matador himself. And I can't disagree with anything my man said. It is annoying, and this is something I think a lot of organisational bodies, like the WBO, like the IBF, they don't really appreciate the fact that Deontay Wilder has been champion, for example, for 2 years longer than AJ's been champion. Yet, he didn't make no. Joseph Parker was begging for the fight. Klitschko was begging for the fight. "Oh, man, I'm a little baby. I'm a young world champion." Even though he was about 40 years old, Wilder was old as you like when he won the belt. I think he was like 31 or something, proper old. Yeah? "Oh, man, I'm a little baby." Shelley Winkle came out and said, "Oh, Deontay Wilder, he's a little baby. He can't fight Klitschko. He can't fight Joseph Parker." That's all the goofy stuff they were saying. He didn't want no parts of it. The reason I bring that up is to say that AJ goes around collecting the belts. Even Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury fought Klitschko for 3 belts. That's not really the same as what AJ did. AJ had to march down, walk all over Mr. I walk the ring like a god. Knocked him out. Slipped lip. Yeah? Caught him with a short, sharp right hand. Put him flat on his butt. That's all she wrote. Next one up. Who was next? Klitschko, the mighty Werner, how much? Your wife is nice, how much? Mr. How much? What happened to him? Mr. I have USB, I have recording, I have USB, very good USB, charity USB, all this kind of business, talking about his USB, talking about this, that, the other. He didn't want no parts of no rematch. He was begging for the Fury rematch. Didn't want no parts of no AJ rematch. And that there, just quickly, I know I always digress, but that's what you man tune in for anyway. Listen, the bottom line is, just quickly, people always sit there and say, "Oh, YB, how can you be so confident that AJ would Merkel Fury?" Don't take my word for it. Take the word of a man who's been in there twice. Or been in there, with both men. Klitschko's been in there with Fury and AJ. Facts. And not to mention, he's been in there with a whole heap of other men as well. But the fact of the matter is, the common denominator, the triangle, Klitschko, has been in there with both of them. What happened when Klitschko went in there with a prime Tyson Fury? I'm talking the prime of all primes. When Fury fought Vlad, he was in his prime. There was no break, there was no shot legs, he was in his prime. Vlad got in there with Fury, and the minute he'd finished the fight, he was begging. He was begging for the rematch. Now, comparatively so. Klitschko gets in there with a 2 or 3 or 4 years away from being his prime AJ. AJ won't be in his prime until about 2021, I reckon. He's got another 2 years from now, I reckon, and he'll be in his top. Yeah? So, Klitschko got in there back in 2017. AJ was 4 years away from being his prime, and Klitschko wanted none of it. And that there shows you why AJ will Merkel Fury. Because Fury's long past 2015. He's long past his prime. AJ's coming towards it. And that there, AJ back in, I'm not being funny, AJ back in 2017 would still Merkel the Fury of 2015. No problem. Simple as that. Anyway, now we've cleared that one up. Like I was saying, AJ, Merkel Charles Martin. Merkel, very nice. Yeah? Merkel, Joseph Parker. Oh, good day, mate. Kangaroo, mate. Oh, mate, Joshua, mate. Joshua's chinny, mate. Oh, yeah, good day, mate. Kangaroo, mate. Want to buy a kangaroo? Good day, mate. Oh, mate, Joshua, mate. Joshua, mate, very chinny, mate. Oh, Joshua, mate. This dude talking about how chinny Joshua is and all this goofy stuff. And I'm from New Zealand and I'm Australian. I want to sell you a kangaroo. All this kind of business. Gets in there. I thought, if you're going to, listen, I've got no problem, yeah? If someone comes out and says you're chinny, I have no problem with people doing that. I think that's great, yeah? If someone's chinny, and if you believe someone's chinny, that's your right. As a fighter, as a boxer, you've earned the right to determine whether or not someone's chinny. However, if you're going to come out and talk about how chinny someone is, you best go out there and actually test a chin. Otherwise, you're just lying, yeah? If I talk about, for example, yeah, BFTB, googly eyes, in fact, any LDBC member, there ain't any LDBC member out there, pick one, yeah? The YB categorically says right now, every single LDBC member is chinless. I'm saying that statement right now, and you best believe, if I ever get in the ring with one of them, and you see me running around the place, backing up, you man best come on here and roast me. Even people who support me, I expect to be roasted, yeah? Let's assume googly eyes, BFTB. If I ever stepped in a ring with him, yeah, and I take a back step, never mind run around. If I take one back step against BFTB, I've lost a fight. Simple as that. I'm happy to sign a contract. If I take one back, I will go in there and I'll march forward. Not even a smidgen back. It's impossible. And that's the problem here. Joseph Parker, oh mate, good day mate, kangaroo mate, oh mate, Joshua's chinny mate, all this kind of business. Gets in there and he runs backwards. He didn't take I'm not being funny, Joseph Parker didn't take a forward step. Never mind sticking on a chin, never mind weighing all over him, none of that. The way he was talking as if he was going to get in there and march forward. Didn't do a damn thing. And then after the fight he's talking about, oh mate, good day mate, rematch mate, oh mate, oh I'll get him next, Andy Ruiz style, oh I'll get him next time mate, all this business. Anyway, who is that? We've got through Park, yes, yeah, so there's the 3 belts. And then, AJ gets beat by Ruiz, comes back and fights Ruiz. The point is, AJ collects all the belts, one by one. He didn't get all 3 at once like Fury did. He hasn't just got one belt off of a vacant title bum, like Bermain Stavern, like Wilder did, and just hide it out behind the WBC protection program. No, AJ collects all the belts, loses them, gets them back, and he wants all the problems. He's saying no problem. Usyk, no problem. Stiff Pulev, no problem. All I need is some time. Oh, you know what? Oh, it looks like you're gonna have to be stripped. It's a madness. And these bodies, there needs to be, and that's why I'm backing a Matchroom belt. Because, or any belt, make some sort of belt up, a DAZN belt. Something needs to happen now, because these organisations, they've got way too much power. Look at the Dillian White situation, they've got way too much power, and they're not adding no value. Yeah, okay, they've got a bit of clout, but in reality, I'm thinking about, I don't know about you man, but when I watch an AJ fight, people tune in to watch AJ. People aren't really tuning in. Maybe a few years ago they did. Oh, he's fighting for a world champion. He's fighting for a world title. But now he's got all the belts. People are tuning in to watch AJ fight. I'm not so sure people are that bothered. Of course, there'll be some marginal effects. Obviously, like, it might make a bit difference, but end of the day, if you're ever going to try and launch a new organisation, a new belt organisation, AJ's the man to do it. It's kind of like Floyd Mayweather. If you're ever going to try and do something, if you allow this opportunity to pass up, if you don't launch a new belt organisation with AJ, it's going to be a lot harder 5-10 years from now when AJ's gone and trying to do it with other fighters. This is the guy to do it with. He's a commodity in his own right. In fact, I'm pretty sure Floyd Mayweather, for example, he fought many fights. In fact, what was Pacquiao versus Mayweather? Was that even for a belt? I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, look at Mayweather versus McGregor. Biggest fight in history, no belt. Don't get me wrong, I think the WBC threw a random belt in there, but the fact of the matter is, no one was tuning in to watch the belt. And that's what it needs to go back to. Boxing shouldn't be about belts. In fact, tell a lie, if the belts was like UFC, the reason UFC belts mean something is because they actually, whoever's got that belt is the baddest dude in the division, and there's pretty much, you can't really argue either way. Every single person who holds a belt is a proper champion. You don't get no dudes hanging out, hiding out for 4 years, fighting Luis Dinosaur Ortiz 4 times. You just don't get that kind of stuff. Rematching Bermain Stavern, you just don't get them kind of things there. Every man who fights for a belt has earned it. And sometimes people, like, for example, Tony Ferguson, he's massively earned a belt, but he hasn't even got an opportunity yet, meaning that sometimes the best competitors don't even get a shot because it's that backed up. There's so many great competitors out there. Not like our situation with the WBC. There's literally no talent in the whole WBC rankings apart from Dillian White, and he's the only one who don't get a shot. You got Fury, who ain't proved nothing in the last 5 years, turning down mandatory positions, but being given them he turned down the February 2019 mandatory from the WBC, and he gets given another one. Meanwhile, Dillian White, who's actually been here consistently, back to back to back for years. Oh, nah, you know what, Dillian, mate? You're 2021, mate. Yeah, mate, good day, mate. All that kind of business. And these belts have got way too much power. And the fact that it's even talking about, you've got Wilder hanging out fighting no one. The WBC don't want to strip him. But yeah, AJ, who's in there fighting consistently. Like, when was the last time Wilder fought? Wilder has like one fight a year. And that fight, the one fight he does have is against a complete stiff. Look at this year for Wilder. The whole year, what's he done? Oh, he fought a stiff. He fought stiff Dominic Breazeale and stiff Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz. Luis Dinosaur Ortiz. That's what he did. And everyone's ranting and raving about it. Oh, man, Deontay Wilder, the best champion in the world. Man, he knocked out Luis Dinosaur Ortiz. All this goofy stuff. And it's not right, man. It's not right. But to be honest, like I said, I'm not even fussed if he does get stripped. If AJ gets stripped, I think this is a sign from God to say, you know what? Either have a conversation with one of the belts, build a proper relationship with one of them, like understand the terms, and ride with that one belt. Drop the others and just stick with one belt, or make your own. Something's got to happen. Something's got to change, though. AJ's either got to try and make one belt premier. So I don't know, pick one of the belts and make a strong relationship with them, and just not even go for the other belts, Wilder style, or make your own belt. I think making your own belt's better as well in terms of legacy. If AJ can start a belt off 5-10 years from now, he's managed to build clout behind it. That means he's going to be getting commissions for years to come. If, for example, Buatsi and Okoli start fighting for his belts and the next generation after that, etc., etc., it could be a good legacy play. I'm trying to think in terms of risk and reward. I don't see what costs there are to it. Of course, there'll be some like regulatory shit going on, but I mean, in general, it can't be that expensive to run a commission. I wouldn't have thought. Print some belts out, print some leather belts. Well, it can't be that hard. I wouldn't have thought. All Maurizio Suleiman does is fly around and watch boxing events, watch boxing fights. He don't do squat else. He surely ain't managing it properly. That's what he ain't doing. But anyway, it will be a travesty if he's stripped. However, things like this open opportunities up, and that will be up to AJ to choose. But it'll be a shame to an extent if AJ does get stripped and he carries on trying to chase the belts around. Now, from his point of view, it could be quite interesting to just chase, even if you do get stripped, to chase around the belts again. But I think it comes to a point where you can't be slaves to these people. You've got to go on your own way. Like, how many times, in the minute they take the Michael once, they'll do it again and again. And we already know it's difficult to hold 4 belts, just thinking about it. If fighters are fighting twice a year, it's impossible to satisfy 4 mandatories every year. Just pure by impossible, absolutely impossible. And I'm pretty sure every belt has 1 mandatory every year. So there you go. It will be impossible. Simple as that. No doubt. But yeah, AJ, in the long run, it don't really make a difference. As AJ fans, whether he has no belts or all the belts, what we know from the great thing about AJ is he don't need belts to create good fights. He's going to fight the best opponent no matter what. Belts or no belts, he's getting the best opponent. For example, June 1st, he lost all of his belts. What did he do? Did he go away, Tyson Fury style, and start picking up warm-up fights to fighting bums? No. He picked the best guy available, Andy Ruiz. Yeah? Now, just beat Andy Ruiz. What's he doing now? Is he looking for warm-up fights? No. The best guy available. So that's one, as an AJ fan, it don't really matter, make a scrap of difference what he chooses to do, whether he's stripped or not. We're going to get the best fights. So hats off to AJ for being that kind of stand-up character.